the Manhattan.
There you go.
Urban Philly.
It's either that or Camden, New Jersey.
It's just bourbon and porta potty water.
That's what a bourbon Philly would be. It'd be blue and brown.
That's gross. What is that stuff they put in there anyway?
What?
In the porta potties.
It's, well, I don't know. I have no idea.
Expect the full report by morning. All right, so like I said, very few notes here. We're just scrambling this thing together, and
Let's just wing
I
it.
guess we'll just wing it. That's what we
Yo,
do.
so here's the thing. Can we keep it short?
We can keep it short. Considering last night's was like an hour and a half, I'm ready to be snappy.
I'm also thinking, like, there's not much that we can say now that we didn't say last year.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, our pre-draft predictions are always just the worst. They're never even close to accurate.
All right,
Yours
well,
are
let's
the
make.
worst.
You know what we should do then? It should be the podcast of bold predictions. Bold. And I'm not talking, you know, Evan's going to make the playoffs in a wild card. I'm talking bold. Like Evan's team is going to be so bad he might quit the league, kind of bold.
He'd have to be bad for years to quit this league. It's amazingly profitable for him.
It
Yeah,
is.
it is. What a dick.
Are you going to be Professor?
Yeah, if I'm making bold predictions, I'm going to tell you why. I need an air of stateliness.
Shouldn't you have a crystal ball instead?
That's not one of the things.
Instead, he has a fuzzy Hankerson head.
Yeah, it's hard to get the focus into something in the front, something in the back.
Yeah, Professor Hankerson.
There we go.
You should leave that shit on.
I can try. If I move over, it'll come back to me, but right now... Oh, damn it.
Oh, there he goes.
Woo!
Whoa.
I think I just pulled something. Okay. Hillers, you got like the rules handy, the rule changes and stuff like that?
Rule changes. I sent the rules out today.
So you got them handy?
No. Oh, well, I mean, I do in my email, I guess.
Well, there we go.
But so does everyone.
Yeah, but I need you to do it. Everyone's not on the podcast.
There's very few changes, if any.
Yeah, Hiller's
The
is trying to change the entire structure of the league because his team sucks now.
Oh, yeah, Hillers, your team does suck.
It does. I agree.
All right. You guys ready? You want to just do this?
Kiana, what's up with dinner? Because they want to start the podcast. It's ready right now.
Oh, you can eat if you need to.
Yeah.
Can I scarf food in 5 minutes? For 5 minutes?
Eat during the podcast. No one
No,
cares.
I'm not gonna eat during the podcast.
No, we all want it on film.
That's like eating in the pool.
All right,
similar-
go scarf something.
Eating in the pool? You can't eat in the pool. You'll cramp up and die.
Exactly.
No, that's not a fact. That
Ooh,
doesn't
can I get some
look
sriracha? I'm gonna put it on mute so you guys don't know all the sounds that I make when I eat.
I saw it on
Me
Shark
now.
Week.
Shark Week?
What'd you get, Merrill? You rescue your beer from the freezer?
Yeah, man. Look.
And it's in its own bowl?
Yeah, well, there's ice in it, so
Oh, okay.
it's like my ice bucket. It's fantasy football time, Hillers, and you know what that means? It's time for pumpkin beer.
Oh, yeah, I love pumpkin beer.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I had some of my own this week. Not right now, obviously, but... I have to lose a bet to do drunk podcasting anymore. Nothing good can come of it.
Yeah. Nick wants in on the podcast here.
Well, let him in. Anthony's busy.
Fine. He's gonna get
Yeah,
Wally
go ahead, let him in. Just mute him for most of it.
That's what I was trying to do on the podcast last night. Was like I wanted to be just the random guy that was just kind of sitting there and didn't actually say anything, and everybody be like, "Who is that guy? And why is he on the podcast?" But you guys didn't want to do that.
Not my podcast. I'm just a sought-after media personality.
I guess you're cheating on the Sandlot cast. Your contract doesn't allow you to go on other podcasts, Hillers. We need to talk about that.
I was not aware of that. You'll have to show me that. I wish I could keep the professor gear on Hankerson and just periodically ask him what he thinks. You know,
Yeah.
check that out. If I could just stick it over there, if there was some effect to be like, just stay where you are, that'd be perfect.
Oh, now Nick's calling. Yo.
So I see the podcast. I hear you talking about this thing. Nick wants that.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah, we are live.
Yeah, I'm humming it in labor.
All right, let me try to send it by email. Hang on.
Also, you said that we would start 7 minutes ago, so anyone tuning in is going to be pretty disappointed.
Well, I didn't tell anybody we were doing it tonight, so.
Oh, all right. So this is just for
Yeah.
recording then. Okay. And Nick, apparently.
All right, Nick, I'm sending you an email.
Do you hear those sound effects, or is that just me?
No, I hear him.
That could be a good one. If somebody says something real stupid.
Hey, that could be the sound for when you offer Brad a trade.
Heyo. Or Dave. I offered Dave a trade, too. He was non-responsive. I guess he feels as our champion, he doesn't need to respond to trades. I'll show him when I poop on him.
There's a
Nick,
bunch of good
wanna just
podcast
hang on
noises in
speakerphone?
here.
No, that's fine. If it don't work, I don't know why it's working. I'll have it working.
Yeah, everybody else joined just fine. So I
It'd
don't
be
know.
like, oh, Meryl, you and I don't play this season.
All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you later.
There's a lot of pertinent sounds in the sounds menu. Look at Anthony, freaking barbarian, just moshing away. It's good he turned
They're
the
having
sound
some
off.
kind of like basil Thai deal. It's really good.
Fruits and vegetables.
How'd you know about that?
I talk to your wife regularly.
She spills the beans on what we're having for dinner quite often.
Yeah. I
Is
saw
she
her
tweeting- is
hashtag.
she tweeting her food?
She hashtagged
Yeah.
Porcelli dinner, and I looked at that. And,
So I am officially ready for the podcast.
all right.
Are we gonna get Nick's gay ass in here?
No, he can't figure it out. It's too complicated for him.
Yeah, it
You
is.
just tell
Oh, are
her-
we live? Are you fucking kidding? It says that we're live on this thing.
We are.
We've been live. We've been watching you eat.
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding me. Come on.
No, I'm gonna edit out the crappy part.
I was totally scarfing to
Oh,
try
no.
to fucking make the time. God
Yeah,
damn
it was gross.
You did great, man.
That's not cool, dude. I fucking wrecked a whole bowl of shit for that.
You did. It was impressive.
Yeah,
I could have enjoyed my dinner and then said fuck the podcast, but instead I slammed my meal and didn't enjoy it as much as I could have for this podcast, and you're going to go and exploit me on the internet.
That's what you do on the internet.
You exploit me.
Oh, yeah. Professor Hankerson is back. Oh, damn it.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Oh, well, we're already fucking live, so why the fuck not? Let's just do it.
I'm gonna do the official deal too, but
hey, Andy's team sucks. End the podcast. How about that?
What do you think, Professor Hankerson?
All right, we're gonna go, guys. You ready?
Yeah.
Counting down 2014 pre-draft podcast for the Sandlot Cast in 5, 4, 3. Happy Women's Equality Day, everybody, and welcome to the 2014 fantasy football season. We are back with Hillers and Anthony. Gentlemen, how are you?
Yeah, don't forget Professor Hankerson.
Professor Hankerson also joined us. Yeah, so guys, are you ready for another fantasy football season here? Did you do some heavy off-season training, or what have you done kind of to stay busy?
Well, I did nothing pertaining to fantasy football, and I loved every minute of it. And now that we're back into it, I'm actually a little bit upset because my stress level is going to go through the roof.
I can hear it already, actually.
Yeah, I've been drinking.
I can hear it creeping in there.
Yeah. Hiller's
already started drinking heavy.
That can't training for you, buddy.
Now, I've been procrastinating this season and trying to learn to embrace my fate.
And what is that?
Oh, it's going to be bad. This is going to be a rebuilding year. That's why the new logo of the Hiller's Karma is a snake eating itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The Hiller's Karma. I like it. I think I'm still like 3 names behind, though. I'm still calling you like the Vengeance or whatever that
The Vengeance is like 5 or 6 years old at this point.
I can't keep up. But okay. Well, I didn't do much training either, so having a young one around, it's tough. So. But we'll roll with it. And so anyway, guys, this is for those of you who happen to stumble into this and don't know what you're watching. This is a podcast about our fantasy football league.
First and foremost.
So you probably don't care, and you can probably just go away if you want to. But if you want to hear people talk about their fantasy football league, which I don't know why you would, stick around. It's going to be great. And that said, let's get into it. We're going to talk about on this podcast. We're going to go through some of the rule changes and the proceedings that are happening this weekend. We're going to go over, do some team overviews, and I don't know, maybe some predictions. We're really winging this thing. We threw it together last second because it was either tonight or never. So we did it tonight. So cool.
I'm psyched. In fact, I'm psyched to talk about the new divisions because I feel like there might be challenges that most of us have never seen before.
Challenges?
Yeah, challenges. Like for example, I'm in a tough division for once. I mean, I've finally rid myself of Brad, who is basically a pushover,
an anchor.
Yeah. He's terrible.
Dragging you down.
And now I have
constantly nibbling at your ankles.
Yeah, so I rid myself of that, and now Merrill, you get to deal with that. So basically, you get a bye into the playoffs.
Not
Enjoy
a bye.
that.
I get victories. 3 of them, baby. Plus, I get to play JD 3 times. Suck it, JD.
Yeah.
So. All right, well, let's get into that a little bit, Hillers. You posted the rule sheet today. Are there any highlights on rule changes or anything that's new this year that the people need to know about?
No, I mean, people can check the huge volumes of paper that I've been sending, but there's really not too much new from last season. That the prizes are the same, the division things I think people understand and are comfortable with. The only thing that I changed really was the controversial defensive loophole from last season, where in between 18 and 21 points, you weren't getting 0 points like you were supposed to. This year you will. And the top 5 tight ends no longer cost a minimum of $10, which the only person that actually benefited this year was me. So,
funny how that works.
Funny how that works. I don't even remember voting for that, but...
Well, didn't it help Jordan Cameron and Nick's team as well?
Yes, it did.
All right, so there's 2.
Possibly.
So two out of the 5.
Yeah. All right.
But there you go. But that's about
it. I'm glad you changed the loophole because Anthony was about to walk into the effing ocean about that rule change last year.
He was pretty upset.
Yeah.
But do look at the scoring, everybody, because once it's in there, as we learned last year, that's how it will remain. So understand, this is your chance. Take a look.
Yeah, no matter how asinine the rules are, or how
Correct.
Despite the intent of the entire collective of the league,
Irrelevant.
Doesn't matter. Whatever's written is written. So
it is law.
God help you.
Well, there are exceptions. If Hiller sees that there's something out there that does
If
have
I
a
screwed
strong,
up.
well, or there is a strong hit on the league because of it. It's ruining the spirit of the league, or it's there's something that's really disrupting the integrity of the game.
God willing, we are past that in our base set of rules after more than a decade of doing this.
Yeah.
So.
No chance we are, but anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
But
Well,
anyway, everything should be set. Schedules are set. Everybody can check out their schedules. We're good to go. Except
Please
for
check out
lunch
your
orders at the draft. We're all set.
All right. And then as far as this weekend, I know Anthony, you're not going to make it. Care to share why that is?
Yeah, I'll be in Boston for my sister's 30th birthday, and that's important to me.
Oh, that should be rocking.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time, but I'm sad to miss y'all. So
you'll be on the Google Hangout with us, I guess.
I will. Google Hangout, Skype, whatever it takes, I'll be there.
Hiller, is anybody else not joining us?
Watson.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we're all in this year. Not
Excellent.
bad.
And we're going to be at Evans Place, which we had before, and that was a good draft when we did that. That's a good location. So plenty of places to go after the draft if we want to go reminisce about how.
Yeah, I'm going to need some beers.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to go make some ill-advised bets immediately.
Right. And beer is the best way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah, pretty standard. What time are we starting on Sunday? Have we decided that?
The pre-draft, talking about the rules, voting, all that starts at noon, and we're targeting the actual draft starting at 1, although if things go as smoothly as I think, it might be as soon as everybody's there.
Great. Okay.
And just one tip. Last year I feel like we had everything streamlined and we just got down to business and we banged it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This year, I like the streamline. That's a good part. But let's just take it easy. This is a fun event. Let's milk it. Milk it for all it's worth.
Maybe savor is the proper word.
Savor it, yeah. Savor
There's no savoring. Once you start in on a live auction draft, it's nothing but terror, anxiety, and regret for the next 2 hours. But afterwards, fun again. During, not fun.
For some of us, it's fun. For other people get all flustered and poo
Makes
themselves.
me nauseous.
It's a disaster. But savor it like Anthony savored his basil Thai chicken just before the podcast.
That did not happen.
Not at all, in other words.
All right, you guys want to get into some team overviews?
Might as well.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, and we'll start with the division at the top. Well, let's start with Division 1 because it's called Division 1, and we'll start with the Dad Dicks.
Division winners, name your divisions. If you don't, I will.
Do we have a division winner in each division?
Yeah, Dad Dix is a division winner in that one.
Okay. So
by 17 points.
Come up with some, I don't know, non-body part name for the division, please. All right, so let's get into it here. Dad Dix won division, made the playoffs last year, and had a pretty good year. What do we think?
Hello?
Oh, God, he just crapped it. Oh, no, he's back.
No, I'm here.
Who crapped?
All right. Mike.
What?
All right, go for it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So have you guys gone through and got your keepers and everything for this year?
Yeah. Let me just start with this.
I know.
I mean, there's not much that you can say about this team that you didn't say about it last year, right? He inherited a bad team. He made it a lot better. He made it a lot better through his draft.
Yeah.
He made it a lot better through his waiver wire and free agent pickups.
How did Le'Veon Bell ever go for $14?
Because he was hurt to start the year last year. He missed like the first 4 weeks.
So great pick on that. Chris Johnson, I mean, he's middle of the road. You could keep him. If he kept him, I wouldn't knock him for it. Terrence Williams, he's probably at, not Number 2, 1.5 on Dallas. And Jordan Reed, you might be able to keep him too. And then you know what? Drew Brees, for the amount of points that he puts up, you got to keep him.
Jordan Reed. He's got Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Graham. My bad. My bad.
Much better.
It wasn't in the starting lineup.
No, and that's what screwed us up because we had that stupid mini game at the end last year where you had to get the fewest points possible. So everybody's best players are on their bench. So
all right. So at the end of the day, Dad Dix is going in the draft with like but the average amount of money, and he could just draft flex and number 2s and be good with it. And he's in a division. It's a tough division for him, but he's got a good team going into it. So I think he's probably, if not a division lead, prospect, but definitely a wild card, at least, Yeah. I like his team.
That's actually a good reminder, Merrill. I'm going to change that highest scoring bench to not be week 12. I'm going to put that someplace else, like week 8 or something.
Well, we did. Why did we do week 12?
Because anybody that's out of it is just going to stack their bench. It'll be weird, So I'll put it someplace where you wouldn't normally want to put your best players.
Yeah, what was that mini game? I forget what that was.
Highest scoring bench is week 12, but I don't want anybody out of it just stacking their bench. So I'm going to put.
It was week 17 where the whole game was over. That's what it was.
That's what it was. That's right. It wasn't actually. It was just like a random thing we came up with. We were like, hey, let's. And what was the winner? Oh, we got to go through that. What did the winner get? Didn't we decide the winner gets like?
No, it got all jacked up, and there was no winner.
No winner or what?
My battery's gonna die. Hang on.
Oh my God.
True professionals here.
Yeah.
So, what are you saying? There's no winner of?
So in week 17, we said the lowest scoring team gets something, and I forget what it was that we got. But what ended up happening is that it didn't tabulate the scores correctly.
Right. I remember.
So,
yeah, that was a failed experiment. Right. Yeah. Oh, well, since our host is now a chair, we can just do Clint Eastwood this thing. Oh, wait.
So, any more comments on the Dad Dicks?
No.
No, I have,
Graham, Le'Veon Bell.
So I have him going into the draft with spending $98 and, spending $113 and having...
you think he's keeping Breeze?
I think he will, yeah. I think he keeps Breeze.
I think you got to. I mean, he's money.
Yeah.
He is pretty amazing.
I got him keeping Breeze, CJ2K, Le'Veon Bell, Terrence Williams, and Jimmy Graham.
Yep. Straight up.
I think that's probably the way he goes, but,
that's a good team. That's what he should do.
I am keeping $113 in players, and that's $185 in value, so it's $72 in value he's got on his team, which is up there.
That's a lot.
With among the most. So yeah. All right. Who else is in this division?
Bunch of crap teams.
Standings. Let's go to standings. We'll find out. This is the preparation we did here. Hiller's Karma is the next team we have up here.
Yeah, it's the crappiest of the crap teams.
All right. Hillers, what do you think of your division overall, by the way?
It's hard. It's hard. These guys are all perennially in and around the playoffs, and Grimes just had the 1 year, but it did not suggest to me that he doesn't know what he's doing, and so it's going to be really tough. This is, I think, easily the toughest division in the league this year.
Easily.
And we're going to be beating each other up all year. It's going to be close to find out who wins the division and what the wild card team is. All of that. It's going to be rough.
Yep. Okay. Well, Hillers. I'll run through the numbers real quick first. I have you keeping $57 in players, which gives you, and that's a value. When those players are probably, if they went back in the draft, would go for $120, which means you've still got $63 in value that you're keeping, which is really good.
57. Does that include the fact that I don't have a keeper fee since I won the toilet bowl?
No, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, he gets the wave one.
Yeah. So $52 in players. But yeah, Hillers, you want to explain your Golden Tate trade? That's one of the more recent events that's happened. We haven't discussed that yet. Let's run through what's going on there.
Yeah. I was looking at Reggie Bush. I knew I wasn't going to keep him. And as usual in that situation, if I've got a guy that I know is going, I'm going to take whatever steps I can take to try to get something of value for something that is of no value to me, to try to improve the quality of my keepers as best I can. And put out a general call to the league saying that, and it was, I'll be honest, it was partially a threat that if I did not get a better offer, that I would take Brian Hartline. Which at the time I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But then as time went on, I said, no, really, probably I can't. I can't do that. But Anthony and JD came to an understanding, probably sniffing out my weakness and knowing that I was really would have been thrilled to get Emmanuel Sanders there, but it just was not in the offing. And I think JD seized on what for me was me wanting to get as much as I had, and also timely newsbreakers about how great Golden Tate was going to be.
Yeah, it was right after he had that good game.
His articles of Golden Tate fantasy superstar, and I do think he will be good. I think he's got a great hands. He's a very reliable receiver, and much better than the number 2 receivers in Detroit than they've had in previous years. So I was fine. I think him and Reggie Bush aren't going to be that far off in total points this season, and he costs a lot less. So I was pleased with it, but I think Anthony was the real winner there.
Yeah, so Anthony, on your side of that, you want to run through what happened there on your side?
Well, I mean, I have Keenan Allen as a keeper, and I had to choose between Sanders and Tate as the other keeper, dropping the other one. So why not try to trade both for an upgrade? And
right.
To be honest, I mean, you say that I'm the winner, and yeah, I upgraded either Sanders or Tate to Brown, but I think that JD's the winner, to be honest, because JD went from a team that, I mean, so JD's whole thing is rebuilding, right? And maybe we'll get to this later, but in this league, where we're at right now, how many years into it, you can't just keep one player like Antonio Brown and expect to go into the draft and draft a whole new winning team. I mean,
three value guys, right? It's hard.
You got to go in with some keepers at good value and then draft. So I mean, the fact that he's going in with Bush, Tate. I mean, Bo's not great, but at least Bo is someone that you can start in a flex.
Low risk.
Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, it's low risk.
Bo.
Yeah, but the thing is,
we'll talk about JD's team in a minute. Let's not do that right
now. It's all low risk for him. So for me, yeah, I upgraded.
You were basically dealing 2 keepers for an upgrade.
That's right. So, that's right.
Pretty standard.
That's where it's at.
All right,
I was pleased to not have a trade where people were going to burn down my house with pitchforks.
Right. Well, so Hillers, you finally got your franchise tight end. We know you're keeping Julius Thomas. Now, Aaron Rodgers is getting to be where, I mean, he's still a great value, don't get me wrong, but he's getting to be at the point where he's not as absurd a value as he has been in the past. And so are you eyeing that horizon where maybe he's not the guy you want to keep anymore?
I every year I think maybe this is the year that I can really consider it and sort of move on and trade him for something of huge value, but I just can't. I love the guy so much. I love watching him play football, and for me it's just like so much a part of the fun of having this team is having Aaron Rodgers do well and the team does well with him, that it's going to be a long time. It's something really bad to happen, and he's not that old. Drew Brees, you were saying, yeah, you got to keep him at $41, and he's 35 years old. Well, Aaron Rodgers is 30 years old and he's $25, so I don't see any reason I couldn't keep him for the next 5 years.
Right. But at some point, if you're talking about a rebuilding year and you want to deal, somebody for maybe a couple of guys that are going to be worth keeping and might pan out, he's the trading piece for that. But I see what you're saying. I mean, he's still a great value. I wouldn't have done it either. But Anthony, anything you see Hillers can do, or any comments on Hillers' team before we move on?
I think that Hillers has a pretty good low-cost team going into the draft. I mean, you got to keep Rodgers. DeMarco Murray's a number 1. He's a first-round pick, or at least a late first-round, early second-round pick in a snake draft going into it. Golden Tate is low risk. Julius Thomas, number 2 tight end, totally small salary. And then, even, I mean, I think I have him keeping Victor Cruz. He probably should, but he doesn't even have to. He's got a good, cheap team. He can probably buy Cruz for the same price.
I honestly have not decided at all on that. I keep waffling back and forth.
So he's got a good base going into the season. I think he can hang just as much as like Dad Dix or anyone else in our division to win the titles. So we'll see how the draft goes.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, it'll be Hillers, Nick, and JD, waving their big money stacks around at the draft while they bid on players. So, Hillers, the draft has always been a place where you excel and do very well. So you got a bunch of money there, and hopefully, I'm being a little I'm being somewhat facetious here, but
some years I do fine.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's true, but I know in the past you've gone in with the strategy of, well, let me get as many keepers as I can and eat up as much salary as I can before I go into the draft, so I can't screw things up. So
yeah, I'm gonna botch it.
This is the reverse, so we'll have to see if you can pull it off here.
I'm gonna botch it.
All right. Next team in this division we have is End Zone Bombardment Squad, 2 podcasters in a row. So Anthony, we kind of went through the trade you made. You had a glutton of keepers. Is that the right use of that word? Anyway.
No, a glut.
Yeah, a glut.
Plethora.
Plethora, perhaps. Plethora is a good word. You had a plethora of keepers and decided to deal 2 to upgrade to Antonio Brown, which is one of the best values in the draft, probably. And I have you at... Oh, where are you? EBS is... I have you keeping $70 in players for... And that's $70 in players, but those players are probably worth around $133, which means you're keeping $63 in value, which again is very good. I only have you keeping 4 guys right now, but Hillers, any thoughts on Anthony's team here?
Yeah, I mean, I think if he goes into this year's draft with the same strategy he went into last year's draft with, it's going to be a tough team to beat and one that's probably back in the playoffs. I mean, he can cut a lot of dead weight here. It probably has to lose Gio, but $40 is probably about what he'll go for, maybe a little bit over this year. But other than that, to go in there with Keenan Allen and Antonio Brown and Matt Stafford, it's solid. And Marshawn Lynch, they're all great values, and they're all top players that I would love to have on my team. So he's in great shape.
Anthony, any concern about Lynch? I mean, a lot of people are starting to say this might be the year they start going to the backup, and Lynch might not be the guy. Is there any concern there?
No. I mean,
they say that a lot.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I can spend $19 on worse. That's why.
True. For what you have him for, that's
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I feel like we just get tired of players, like especially running backs. We get if they've been around for 3 years, we're like, oh, well, they're getting to the end of their road.
We just start predicting their doom left and right.
Who's the next guy? Yeah, so, but no, Lynch.
I mean, he might lose carries to previous years, but he's getting up there in age. I mean, he won me in championship. Yep. I'm gonna keep him for 1 more year. Let's see how he does, and then we'll take it year by year with him. But I'm not gonna drop him. Hell no.
No, well, you got that tattoo, so you can't really drop him.
That's true, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to talk about Anthony. Everybody kind of knows who Anthony's keeping. He's you looking to make any more moves at all, or you kind of happy with what you have right now?
Well, I mean, if someone wants to make an offer for Lynch or Wallace, that's fine. I put that out to the league, but I don't expect anything. Gio. Sorry, I said Lynch. I meant Bernard or Wallace.
Okay.
Bernard is a guy that I could consider keeping, but I'm not sold on it just yet.
Just not a lot of value there. 43 is probably what he goes for.
I mean, if you want to sign him at 43, or in my case it would be 45, that's 1 year max. So if you want him,
right,
just make me an offer.
Yeah, Giovanni Bernard is probably a guy who will maybe never be kept in our league just because of what he went for as a rookie.
Yeah, that's about right.
One of those guys. Okay. Next team in the division here is Iron Pirate Redux. Now this is a team I don't get why he hasn't made a move yet on this because he's in shambles here for keeper wise from what I can see. And he's got some things he can deal, but I guess Sproles.
As usual, his wide receiver situation is rock solid.
Yeah, it's great, but
you can't impugn that.
But then it's like he's got AJ Green and Randall Cobb. That's pretty much who he's going to keep at wide receiver.
Right.
And then I guess he's probably going to keep Sproles. But I don't know if he is or not. That's
really borderline.
Yeah, 27's probably around.
No, that's crazy. You will not keep a backup a backup in a non-PPR league, a backup running back to LaShawn McCoy, you don't keep for 27.
Let's say this: I would not pay 27 for him in the draft.
Yeah.
Heck no. I'm going to take over here because Nick's in dire straits and he's got to make a move here. I mean, in my opinion, you got to keep Green and Cobb.
Yep.
But and Cameron, I think that's
at $2.
Yeah, maybe you take
He's a starting running back that costs $2. You can't throw that back.
Well, Lamar Miller is the starter, but I think Noshawn will have a pretty big play in the Dolphins. But the thing is, like, if Nick wanted it to deal either Cobb or Green, he could probably get 2 players of pretty good production. Like, he could probably pull and I'm just going to use my team for an example. Like, he could probably pull a Giovanni Bernard and a Golden Tate, like 2 middle of the road running back and wide receivers for a number 1 like that. And I think that's the move.
He could pull Zach Stacy and a James Jones, or if he wanted to.
Well, James Jones is terrible, but Zach Stacy is pretty money.
James Jones isn't terrible. He's the number 1 receiver on the Raiders. But
the Raiders are terrible, and he is terrible with them.
Okay.
So I mean, Nick's got a lot of drafting to do in the wide receiver, in the running back category. I mean, I love his wide receivers. Kaepernick, you might even want to keep him, but
no,
he's got a lot of running backs.
No.
and I don't know if he can afford a good running back set, even with the glut of rookies we have out there.
Yeah. Yeah. He's in dire straits. He's got the worst keeper, one of the worst keeper situations right now. I feel like, and I've got him keeping. He's got $40 in players he's keeping for what I have is $73 in value, because I think AJ Green's like a $45 player and Cobb's probably around 30ish. But that's only $33 in value, but $73 worth of players. So he's at the low end of value that he's keeping coming in the draft. So something needs to happen here, and I think me and Nick are going to make a trade. I think something's going to happen between us, depending on the Josh Gordon news. But we'll get to that in a little bit here. So yeah, that concludes that division.
Wishful thinking, Merrill. He loves those receivers.
He does, but he's well, you know how Nick is about trades, but he seems pretty sold on one trade.
Wide receivers, yes, I do.
Well, he's basically, but he can trade those guys because he's got guys right behind them that
you think he can, but you're not living in the mind of your average neighborhood Nick.
Thank God.
Imagine a golem like Lust for top tier wide receivers. You know what I mean? Where you'd bite your finger off to get one. So
yeah. All right, Division 2 we'll go into now. Peanut Butter Jelly Time is the first team in that division. This team last year went in with a lot of money spent on keepers, kind of as an all-in for this year move, and it didn't really pan out for them.
Didn't work.
No, but I have him keeping $69 in players right now, which are probably worth about $109, which means he's got about $40 in value. And I have him keeping Griffin, Tate, Alshon Jeffrey, and Vincent Jackson. What say you, Anthony?
I think you were spot on with the keepers, although Doug Martin he's borderline. I mean, he's a one-year flyer. One-year flyer. And to be honest, it's a coin flip for me. But
yeah.
I mean, this team is hurting because all the keepers that you named, maybe with exception to Alshon Jeffrey, are risks. RG3 did not have a good year last year.
Kirk Cousins could be the starter by the end of this season. It's a possibility.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. But
it's in the realm of possibility.
No, Hillers, stop it.
You said this is bold prediction podcast. Don't go wussing out on me. Kirk Cousins has been playing better than he has
in the preseason.
V-Jax is hit or miss, and Ben Tate could get overtaken by the other rookie that's there. I forget his name, but I mean he could get overtaken pretty soon. So there you go. So I mean,
no, he can't.
So I can see Brett spending a lot of money on his keepers and then like having all of them outshined by their backups.
Okay, I think Ben Tate's a great value. I think he's a guy he's the best value he's got on his team. Ben Tate would go for 30+ if he was in the draft this year, just because he's a starting running back on a team, and they brought him in. They brought him in for a reason. I mean, Terrence West, if he does take over, it'll be because Ben Tate got hurt. That's your concern with Tate because he's been banged up quite a bit. So
well,
Hillers,
but
you're off center, by
Cleveland
the way, Hillers.
Cleveland's going to be like coming from behind a lot, and I think that why would they run? I mean, look, I agree. You got to keep Ben Tate. He's a great value. I agree there, but he may not get as many carries as you would expect because I think they'd be coming from behind a lot.
Okay.
Well, also, it definitely could be a committee situation there by the end of the year, too.
Right. Is there, Hillers, do you see any moves he could make that would, what about maybe keeping Phillip Rivers instead of Griffin? Is that something he should consider, or does he's kind of committed to Griffin?
Yes, Phillip Rivers was a top 5 quarterback last season, and he cost $3. And he cost $3. I mean, the risk is so low. He's either the best backup quarterback in the league at backup quarterback prices, or a $6 starter. I mean, I would keep Phillip Rivers over RG3. Given the choice between the two of them, I would even bet that Phillip Rivers does better than RG3 this season.
Wow.
I'll take that bet.
Ooh, bet book.
We'll put it in the bet. We'll decide on some stakes and get that one in the bet book.
Was he really a top 5 QB last year?
Yes, he was. He was top 5.
No, that's not true.
You sure?
I'm looking at it.
Nobody here is sure, but I'll take that bet, Hillers.
Okay. Oh, wait, he was. Oh, wait.
I'm looking it up. Well, which means he can't keep him for $6 then.
That's right. He was on the list. Remember that list I sent out today?
He was the number 3 QB on the year.
Yep. That is right.
Lord.
Don't sleep on Phillip Rivers. He's not that bad.
So that means he has to be kept for $13 because his price gets bumped up.
Yep.
And that's the end of it. So he's not going to get kept.
Keep him.
Yeah. No, you don't keep Rivers at 13. You just don't.
You should.
Okay. Well, you should. Maybe you should trade for him. Give him Rodgers for Rivers, because Rivers outscored Rodgers last year.
Brett, make the trade with Hillers. He'll trade anything for him.
Yeah, I mean Rodgers was terrible last year.
Fun.
He's like the number 22 quarterback. Joe Flacco beat Aaron Rodgers last year. Okay. Well, anything else on Brett's team, or we're good, right? Maybe keep Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis.
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right. The Weenyay, Masters of Elegant. Our next team here. And Hillers, you were messaging me today about this team, saying, they're actually pretty good.
Well, I will say this, they are better than I expected when I went poking around in his roster. I was expecting to see a never-ending dumpster fire with no hope, and that's not what I found. You know, I mean, there is definite value and keepers here. LaShawn McCoy, obviously, is a guy that you're going to want to keep. We differed a little bit on the value of Jay Cutler, but I think $7 is a great price for him this year. Even if it's not top tier guys for the rest of it, I mean, with Mike Tolbert at $1, he's going to go for more than $5. Go ahead, keep him. You know what I mean?
He's keeping Tolbert.
He might as well. I mean, he's got LaShawn McCoy, Riley Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, Sean Jackson, all of which are keeper prices. So, I mean, he's got a lot that he could go forward with without breaking the bank here. Oh, and Michael Floyd, who, is...
So you want him to keep the number 3 running back for the Carolina Panthers?
Well, he hasn't got another spot. Might as well. It's very low risk.
Well, but he's got McCoy. I have him keeping Cutler, McCoy, Michael Floyd, Riley Cooper, and Rob Gronkowski. Those are his keepers.
Oh, I forgot about Gronk. Yeah, never mind. I retract my Mike Tolbert comment.
Tolbert in that mess.
Gronkowski would be a superior keeper, yes.
but yeah, Hillers, I'm with you on Cutler. We disagreed a little bit. I mean, I think he's going to keep him, and I don't think it's a terrible thing. I think Cutler would go for maybe a little over 10 in the draft, and he can keep him for 10, so why not? But even Alex Smith at $1, get Alex Smith for 4. That's not that bad either. I mean, he's got some options at quarterback. But Anthony, anything Weenyay was kind of a, we like to use the term dumpster fire on this podcast, but they were a disaster last year. But coming into the draft, they don't look so bad, right?
No, I mean they have some good value. Mike, I think I agree with almost all of your keepers except Jay Cutler. You know what? If Cutler, you know what I would do? I would rather release the $10 and maybe make a play for a better quarterback. And if you don't get that better quarterback, like let's say Tom Brady, for example, then you go and put the $10 back in Jay Cutler in the draft. Because who wants Jay Cutler? Like maybe two people in our league.
No, for $7, I think he's a good value. I told Merrill if
you know what, Hillers, then draft him as your backup quarterback for $7. I challenge
totally would. That. Totally would.
And I guarantee you won't do it. You know, if I were Andy, I would say, you know, maybe Alex. If you want to draft Alex Smith for $4 as your backup, cool. But then go for someone better because Cutler's not your guy. He's always hurt. Don't do it.
I told Merrill, he doesn't have a major structural injury, unless you consider vaginitis a major structural injury, which he does have. It's chronic.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are drafting Cutler as like a top 12, but that's a mistake. He's not been a top 12 quarterback. He has not been in one period.
The argument is last year he would have been if he was healthy, but like you said, he's never healthy. So that's
right.
Rub.
Don't do it, Andy.
But overall, Andy, nice job last year in setting yourself up. You know, getting your team to a better position because last year going in, you were hurting. You made arguably one of the worst trades I think in the history of our league preseason. But it's just my opinion. It's my opinion.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah. So but it worked out. You've got a much better team coming this year, and I think. You're not going to be quite the pushover that you were last year, so well done, sir. We're good on that, right?
Yep.
Sex Cannons, our next team, formerly the Flying Canaries. Evan is one of those teams I looked at, and I was like, because I thought, all right, well, Evan made his push. He's getting rid of Peyton Manning. Ray Rice is kind of hurting. He didn't have a great year last year. Maybe Evan's on the downfall. But then I look, and he's got Julio Jones and Demaryius Thomas. He's not going to keep Ray Rice, but he's got he's got Alfred Morris, and he's keeping C.J. Spiller for still a great price. And it's like, all right, well, never mind. Evan's still here. He's still going. But Anthony, Evan made the trade. He dealt Peyton Manning for Alfred Morris. He wanted a second running back because he couldn't keep Rice. But do you see Evan being one of the top teams again this year?
Of course I do. I mean, yeah, there's the Evan factor, but I mean, he's got a good team. It's funny because he's got Julio and Demaryius, but then he's also got Michael Crabtree for $1. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he throws one of the two Tier 1 guys back, just keeps Crabtree, and then bids up on the other because he could afford it, And then, look, I just wouldn't be surprised, right? Okay. I mean, I can see him dealing one before that, but if he doesn't happen, I wouldn't be surprised either.
He's got Garcon down there too, and Andre Johnson.
Yeah. So
and Cordell Patterson. It just goes on and on.
Oh my God.
Morris and Spiller are solid, and Nick Foles, if he can produce like he did last year, he'll be solid too. I mean, he's got good keepers up and down. He's going to be a force.
Is that the greatest 6 receivers any team has ever had? I mean, it has to be, right?
Thank God he can't keep this entire team, or we'd be totally boned.
Every one of those guys is going to go for 20 or more, probably, right? In the draft?
His keepers are great, but he's probably got another 5 guys on this team that would be keepers on somebody else's team that he's going to have to let go. So,
Thank God
maybe
you can only keep 2.
he has a bad draft, and can, claw
yeah, not
away.
to mention, Pitta at $2, 5 to keep isn't a terrible value either.
No, a lot of people are predicting him as a top tight end this year. So
yeah. Do you think he keeps Foles?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's cheap. He's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, and the guy threw 2 interceptions last year. 2.
Yeah, but that's not.
I mean,
and
of course, it's going to regress. But I mean, if he can like keep a similar production, yeah. I mean, why not? Yeah. Why
13,
not? Who else is out there?
Yeah, for the quarterback that threw the greatest game in football history, statistically, $13, you got to keep him.
I mean, the top 3 quarterbacks in our league, the top 4 quarterbacks in our league, are going to be kept, and that's Peyton, that's Breeze, that's Stafford, and that's I don't know who's the other one, Cam Newton maybe. Rodgers, right? And Cam Newton too. So the top 5, and 6 is arguably Foles. Why the hell wouldn't he keep him for less than $10?
Again, you forgot about Phillip Rivers.
Oh God, no, he didn't.
Well, Cam Newton, I don't know. He's got a tough road to hoe this season.
A lot of hoeing the roads.
A lot of hoeing. Many roads.
The hits keep coming for Cam, but I think he'll be fine. But we'll get into him when we get to Pritchard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Evan. Yeah. You keep Foles. Sure, why not? Whatever. You can deal 4 of your wide receivers for a number 1 running back or something too. Who knows?
Yeah. In summary, this team sucks and is doomed.
Yeah.
Next
division or next team is Touchdown Jesus. Hey, look at that. Speaking of Cam Newton. So this team's a little interesting keeper-wise, and I haven't been going over the numbers in the past, and tough toenails to you guys. Sorry about that. But this team is interesting keeper-wise because I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, wow, this team's list of keepers is ridiculous. He's got, where is he? I've got him in here somewhere. TDJ.
Forte.
Cam Newton, Monte Ball, Matt Forte, Calvin Johnson, and Dez Bryant. I mean, come on, that's completely insane. Like, that is the best set of keepers in the league. But then I look at salary, and he's at like $150 spent at that point, So he's got $50 to go into the draft with. And then you look at it and you say, is he really going to keep Cam Newton? And Hillers, you were you were hinting that you didn't think Cam's going to...
I'm down on Cam this season. I mean, not that if he kept him for $19, obviously you can't hate on that. The guy is perennially great. But he's busted up, and he hasn't got a receiver on his team that's really anything
that caught a pass last
proven
year.
Or known. Yeah, I mean, so
well, a pass from him.
Yeah, and not that there's not good reason to think that Kelvin Benjamin couldn't do very well this season, or that Jericho Cotchery might not be like a good sleeper. Somebody's going to be catching passes down there, but it's just very suspect. I can't see him repeating last season's numbers. And so you got to expect a hit, and it's just a question of how much of a hit are you talking about. Last season already wasn't his best season; it was below his 3-year average, and so this would not be the year that I spent a lot of money on Cam Newton.
$19 is not a lot of money on a top 5 quarterback. So I mean, even if you project it down here, I think you still keep him. I mean, I think if there's any cost savings on this team, it's probably in one of the wide receivers and probably Dez Bryant. I mean, he's got Kendall Wright on his team. Kendall Wright is projected to do amazing this year, and the Titans are going to be probably a better team than they were last year. So maybe you drop Dez, you get about $20 back in salary.
What? Drop Dez Bryant?
Do it. Drop him.
I mean, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
All right. I mean, so look. I mean, if I had 2 courses of action for TDJ, it would be ride it out, try to win this year, go stars and scrubs, and try to win it.
That's possible. It's a possibility.
And then the second course is keep your running backs, keep your quarterback, make a decision on your wide receivers, stick with Kendall Wright, and then hopefully maybe you get luckier in the draft or free agency. Who knows?
Luckier.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, I didn't realize he had Kendall Wright down there, Anthony. That's a good point. I mean, which means he doesn't have to drop Dez. He can maybe try to trade Dez to a team, maybe looking for a receiver.
Quit hawking, Merrill. Merrill's traveling circus.
Point. I mean, you mentioned Cam Newton. I mean, Hillers, and you mentioned his receiving core. Is his receiving core that much worse than it was last year? I mean, Brandon LaFell last year. So Steve Smith's gone, okay, but Steve Smith his best days are behind him. He's a possession guy now for sure. He's like similar to an Anquan Bolden at this point. He's kind of that guy who can go up and get it. Even if he's not open, he's open. But he's still not what he used to be. Brandon LaFell, we will never hear from again. He's gone.
In the Patriots now.
We will never hear from him again. Trust me, he's gone. He may catch 20 passes.
He's gone
now. Kelvin Benjamin, Jericho Cotchery, not that much worse than those guys, I would argue. So.
And like I say, if he keeps him for 19, fine. But he was being mentioned in the same breath as Manning and Breeze, and that's just not going to happen.
Well,
that's not where he's going to be.
He's been a top 5 quarterback every year he's been in the league. So that's where that's coming from, and he's never really had great receivers. So I think the concern with Cam is injury. That's what I think. I don't think it's going to be his receivers because his value really isn't in passing anyway. A lot of his value comes from running and his touchdowns, his running touchdowns. But I think I don't know. I think Cam will be okay. But at the same time, I don't have him keeping Cam. So because I think something's got to give.
Double talking nonsense.
No, but you.
So right. Oh, he's the best, but no, he's not keeping him at $19.
Well, it's just the spot he's in. You can't go into the draft with $50. You just can't do it. People have tried.
Yeah, but who is he going to keep instead? So he's going to go in with four keepers?
Yeah, I think so.
And what quarterback is better than Cam for less than $19?
Merrill doesn't think any quarterback. He wouldn't pay any money for a quarterback now that his search is done.
That's not true. I'd pay $40+ for Breeze. I'd pay $50 for Rodgers if he was available.
They're not available. The next best guy, according to you, is Cam Newton, and you're saying you won't pay $20 for him.
Well, there's Tom Brady. He's out there too. Let's not forget him.
He's not a top 5 every year.
And Tom Brady will go for more than $20 probably. As long as Brad needs a quarterback anyway.
Well, but
yeah,
what I'm saying is
$40 easy.
If you're in this particular situation and you're already at like $125 spent, you go cheap on quarterback. You kind of have to. You don't have a choice. That's the situation you're in. That's where you find yourself. And so you're looking at Phillip Rivers. That's going to be your quarterback this year. Someone like that. I think that's one of his options. So.
Bad move.
Enough about Pritchard, though. Let's move on.
Yes, truly.
To
never speak of him again.
Division 3, what I think is going to be the hardest division in the league. We'll start with the Assassins. Coming in, they are not in the best of situations. They really love Tom Brady, and that's kind of put them in quite the pickle.
So much.
So they got to make a decision, Do they keep Adrian Peterson? Right now I have them keeping $120 in players, and those players are worth $162, giving him $42 in value. But he's got I have him keeping AP, but he's got Ellington, who's a great value. He's got Torrey Smith, who's right around where he should be, and he's got Jordy Nelson, who's a pretty good value also.
He's going to keep AP at 62. Would that be the most expensive running back in the history of the league?
I think he'll keep him at 64, actually.
Mike, I got to interrupt because this stupidity has got to stop. If he's not keeping Andre Ellington and Shane Vereen, then that is blatant. That is like a foghorn of obviousness because
I
guys
agree with Anthony. Yes.
Cheap as heck, and they're both poised to be really, really good. And I hate to say that to Brad because maybe he would not have realized that on his own, but it's for everyone else is very obvious.
Yeah, you can't keep Adrian Peterson at $64. That's crazy. That's like more than a quarter of your budget on one guy. If he had no one to replace him with, maybe, but he doesn't have no one to replace him with. Anthony just pointed out these two amazing options that are super cheap to replace him with. So of course you do that.
In addition, I think Brad's in great shape because you got those two running backs, Torrey Smith and Jordy Nelson. By the way, both of which Hillers gave away last year. Both of which are keeper values of just over $20. Which both of those wide receivers are either second or third round in most snake drafts. Why wouldn't you keep them for 20-something? You know what? Take the chance. You got cheap running backs. Now there's 4 keepers. Spend some money on a good quarterback that's not named Tom Brady, and now you're good to go.
Like Phillip Rivers, if you go.
I would. Well, the thing with Adrian Peterson is you can't find a season where he didn't score 10 touchdowns because he scored 10 touchdowns every year he's been in the league. Shane Vereen, I can't find a season where he did score 10 touchdowns. So the thing with Adrian Peterson is you know what you're getting.
What's the price of 10 touchdowns? You can
what, Mike?
3 guys that scored 6 touchdowns
What's the price
for that
of
money.
A guaranteed top 5 running back? That's what you need to be asking.
It's not $64.
It is $64.
Beyond the pale.
What do you?
You know what, Mike? You're right. You know what, Mike? You're right. You know what, Brad? Do it. Keep AP.
Keep him, Brad.
Let me ask you guys honestly. What do you think Adrian Peterson goes for in the draft this year if he throws him back?
$54.
Really? Because he went for $58 when he was coming back off a torn ACL.
Okay.
$54 and nothing more.
Wow. All right. Well, that's crazy. So,
if you throw him back, you know what Merrill will be paying for him anyway.
No, I don't
hey,
need
Brett,
55 plus.
Trade him to Merrill for Jamal Charles. I think he'll do it.
I don't have room for him. But no, you think he'll go for $54? Okay. So, but the year he's coming off a torn ACL, and they're not even sure he's going to start week 1. He went for $58. But you guys say 54 in a year where he's completely healthy.
Well, obviously not now, because we know you're going to pay 64 for him.
I'm going to bump mine down to $52.
All right. All right. Well, you're on the record, so that's all I can say on that. But all right. Well, we know where we stand on Watson's team, I guess. Is there any chance he keeps Tom Brady?
There is some chance just because of the Watson factor, but that's not the smart play.
What about Julian Edelman at $32?
I hope he keeps Tom Brady.
That'd be pretty great.
What about Tom Brady and Julian Edelman for a combined like $70? What do we think?
I can see Brad dropping Tom Brady and then redrafting him for like $44.
Yes.
Oh, that's mean, but kind of true.
Whatever. He did that same thing last season, and he ended up drafting Ellington for like $2.
All right, so we're positive he's throwing Brady back. You guys think he'll throw Peterson back? I don't think he'll throw Peterson back. But there's a trade. I guess the other thing is there's a trade that could be made. Maybe he could, I don't know, deal either Peterson or Vereen. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, everybody wants to take on $64 worth of cap for a draft.
Hillers,
That's real popular.
if that's what he's going to go for in the draft anyway, it doesn't matter what you take on.
He's not going to go for $64 unless you pay it.
Okay. All right. Duplex of mediocrity is our next team. We will. This is our defending champion here. I'm trying to pull up the stats that I have for him, but even though he's defending champion, his keeper situation isn't that great. But he did make a trade for Andrew Luck last year, who's he's hoping to be his franchise quarterback. He does have Eddie Lacy, who is one of the top 5 running backs in the league.
I can't believe that panned out like it did.
Yeah,
I'm still in shock.
Yeah, I mean it's not. He doesn't have him for a steal. He's paying $32, which it's really good, but it's not. It's not absurd. It's it's not.
No,
it's not.
It's still value though.
It's pretty good value for sure. But I have him keeping $70 in players who are worth $104. So that's $34 in value. Not the best out there, but still, you got Andrew Luck, you got Eddie Lacy, and then the question is who from there. I think Anthony. I think he keeps. Well, if I were him, I would keep Macklin and Pierre Thomas. But I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. I think he's got a tough road ahead as far as the keeper situation. I mean, looking at his team now, it's really hard to believe that he won the championship, right? Isn't it? Right. So keeper situation. You got to keep Macklin for $1 because a $4 Macklin is a pretty good value, and plus you can't keep Marshall for $45 anyway.
No.
Maybe you take the flyer on Bolden. I really don't believe Lacy is worth more than 30s, low 30s. I mean, that's about
really.
I think he goes for close to $50 if he gets thrown back in the draft.
I mean, I would say 40s, but that's cool. I mean, split the difference.
I remember Cedric Benson went for $36 one year, right? You drafted him for that. You remember that?
I did. Okay. But the other guy, I might keep Dalton over Luck, and you know what I might try to do is trade Luck away.
What?
Trade Luck away. I don't know.
I can't agree with you on that.
Crazy.
That's kind of out of left field.
Well, but let me ask you a question. Which quarterback did he win the championship with? And the answer is Dalton.
So?
What do you mean by that?
That has no bearing on anything.
What I mean is that he started Dalton in the championship over Luck and won.
Are you positive about that?
Mostly.
Okay.
Right, let's look.
I don't have the facts to back that.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Andrew Luck scored 35 points in the championship weeks, and Andy Dalton scored. Whoa. 60.
Whoa!
So there you go. I'm pretty sure. I mean, for Dalton for 8. Maybe you keep Dalton for 8, and you try to make a trade for Luck for a better value.
Well, because I can tell you, I made an offer for Luck, and I heard. Well, Hillers, what did I hear?
Oh, wait a second. I'm not on that thing here. I'm trying to remember what you heard. It was.
That's correct. That's exactly what I did. And I'm not saying my offer was the greatest one in the world, but I offered him, I want to say, 2 keeper running backs for Andrew Luck, and Dave isn't in the. Well, I guess he's keeping Lacey, so he wouldn't need to. Maybe I offered him a running back and a receiver. I don't know, but he's not the most active trader in the world, unless you're Evan, apparently. So that's kind of crazy. But when you look at the numbers, Anthony, you're right. I mean, it holds water, man. That's interesting. But
now, for that 2-week sample size, it holds water. For this season, it's practically irrelevant.
I'm pretty sure Dalton outscored Luck last year.
He did.
Do you think? So, are you saying you bet that Andy Dalton outscores Andrew Luck on this season?
No, but the thing is, I might take a flyer on what's the difference? $13 flyer on it happening again. $13, because if you can trade Luck for a guy, let's say, I don't know. I mean, let's say there's a
$13 is Vernon Davis.
Yeah, I mean, let's say you can get a middle of the road RB2. I mean, Dave does not have an RB. No.
Hillers. You one of our drafts?
No, you're not what I'm saying. You're like, if you can trade Luck for a middle of the road RB2 that's keepable, why not do it for Luck? Why not do it? Yeah. Because Dalton right now is about the same quarterback as Luck is, and he's $13 cheaper.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. It's not as crazy as I thought it was initially, Anthony. I wouldn't do it. But Hitler's what he's saying about that is he may not be an RB2 when you draft him, but a $13 running back can become an RB2 quite easily in this league.
Well, sure, he can also become trash.
Any running back can become trash.
Well, but it's also any running back can be a running back too. I mean. You don't know where people are going to end up.
But it's also $13 more that you can spend on both, let's say, puts you over the top on Adrian Peterson and puts you over the top on another running back, and now you got 2 guys that you normally would not have had.
I just don't think he's hurting enough on money to have to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You feeling that's going to be better, you might as well invest a little bit more money to get something better than hope, Andy Dalton maintains his relatively mediocre stats over the last several years.
And the other thing here we're not saying is that I think everybody, well, I don't know about everybody, but I think in 2 to 3 years, Andrew Luck is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If he's not already, I think he's going to be one of the highest scoring fantasy quarterbacks in the league in 2 to 3 years. So that's what you're giving up too. You're giving up the chance to have that guy when that happens.
Yeah, he made an investment there, and I think he should stick with it. Also, if he's got a free guy, consider keeping Martellus Bennett at $4.
In 2 to 3 years, Andrew Luck is also going to cost high 20s. So I mean, how much money is it going to cost to put up with that kind of that kind of maturity production?
Well, if Errol's right, he'll be worth 20s by then.
In 2 years, he'll be $24. I don't know.
And that's a guy that hates to pay for quarterbacks, so it must be true.
I don't hate to do it. You just can't do it every now. When
you hate it.
I paid $45 for Tom Brady one year. I don't know what you're talking about. But okay. Next team we have here is the team that hates to pay for quarterbacks, the Black Widows. Coming into the draft, I'm going to give away who I'm keeping if I say this, but
I think we all know.
We all kind of know. So
I'll take a cut at it.
All right.
So we got Peyton Manning. You traded from him. That's pretty obvious. You got Charles. Why wouldn't you? You got Percy Harvin. That's the number 3. And here's where it gets interesting because
yes, it does.
Russell Wilson as a QB2. You could do it. You can make the argument that you can do it. Another one, Josh Gordon, based on the news, you can also do it. And then the next one is more obvious. You got to pick between Rashad Jennings and Zach Stacy. Jennings is the risk. He's the cheaper one, clearly, but he's also the risk factor. And Zach Stacy is a little bit more solid, but he's more expensive. I can see him going either way. So if I had to put money on anything, I know how badly Merrill wants to win. I know it. And he's in a division now that he could win.
Yeah, he's not playing me this year.
And I think he goes for the gusto. I think he goes Zach Stacy. I think he goes Zach Stacy kicks Rashad Jennings to the curb.
Zach Stacy is now gusto.
Yeah. And you know what? Surprise, everybody! I think he goes Jared Boykin for number 5.
Hillers?
That's the Jared Boykin. Oh, my guess on your keepers is Manning, Charles, Stacy, Harvin, and then I'm sure you're waiting with bated breath on the Gordon news.
Oh my God, it's killing me. I'm losing sleep over the Gordon news.
They just will not say at all.
I don't understand what's so complicated. I really don't.
What his deal is, but I don't
the OJ
think
jury came back faster than this. Like, what's the deal here?
They kind of did, but yeah, if he no, I mean if you can't trade him, then you got to keep him for next year. So I would have you keeping Gordon if you if you cannot trade him prior to that.
But the problem with Gordon is that you can't put him on the IR. He just is a bench spot that you can't use.
$9 worth of it for a top 5 wide receiver. I couldn't bring myself to let it go.
$13 worth of it.
I couldn't bring myself to let it go.
Well, but again, like Anthony said, when I traded for Peyton Manning, it was kind of a win now move. And keeping a suspended, a guy who's suspended for at least half the season, maybe the full season on my team, isn't really a win now move. So the question is, do I?
No, but I mean, people have left $13 behind in the draft before. I mean, it's money, but it's not devastating budget money.
But do I talk to a team like, I don't know, like the Weenyay, who...
You're talking to everybody. You've spent the entire podcast pitching Josh Gordon and presumably Rashad Jennings for whatever you can get. So
but here's the thing. Like,
the message is
and you
out,
read the newsbreakers, and like I was reading one today, they were like, it might only be a 4-game suspension. I was like, that would be the greatest thing.
No, I told you that.
And Merrill, here's the ultimate...
That from me. That's not the newsbreaker.
The ultimate offer to Weenyay is you offer Russell Wilson, Rashad Jennings, Zach Stacy, and Josh Gordon for LaShawn McCoy. And you nab that, and then you can also keep Jared Boykin. You can have 5 solid keepers, and Weenyay gets 4 solid keepers.
And has to dump the other ones that he might keep. I wouldn't do that if I was Andy, I don't think.
Weenyay has nobody else to keep.
He's got Gronk.
Yeah. What do you do with Gronk?
That's 4 solid keepers plus Gronk. And now Weenyay's good, you're good, it's a win-win.
Yeah, but anyway, that's kind of where I am. Everything I'm doing right now hinges on that Josh Gordon decision, and God help me if it doesn't come down this week. I have no idea what I'm going to do.
That would be great if you went into the draft not knowing.
No idea. So a lot of it's hinging on that, but I am going to be keeping Peyton Manning. I'm going to give that one away. Also, Jamal Charles.
We just spill the beans.
My team, and Percy Harvin will most likely be kept as well. So, yeah. But I do like where I'm at, and I feel like I've got a good chance at the division as of August 26th of this year. So, which means nothing. All right, final team here is Los Chupanibres. Last on our list and probably last in the division because
possibly in the league if it was anything like last year.
Oof, boy, but Danny leaves JD in a tough spot, man. I mean, oof.
JD had first dibs. He was the first one in and got to pick which team he wanted. This was the team he chose.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Wow, that was. No, I think it was because Danny was the first one to quit, right?
Yes, and then JD was the first one in. But by the time JD was selecting his team, there were 2 teams to choose from, and he chose this one.
Well, so here's who I have him keeping.
So Reggie this is Bush, your own making, JD.
Reggie Bush and Emmanuel Sanders, and that's it. Keeping $37 in players at a value of $42, I think. That might be a little low on Sanders, but that's giving him $5 in value that he's keeping on his team.
No Matt Ryan. $20 too expensive for Matt Ryan for you? Of course it is. Why am I asking you? I should ask Anthony.
I would keep Matt Ryan at $20. I mean, there's just not much else out there. I mean, so what? So he's going to give up a $20 Matt Ryan to get a $17 Russell Wilson? I mean,
yeah.
Really? I mean,
what's
who cares?
the point? Yeah.
I'm back. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there.
I mean, I would rather have a $20 Matt Ryan and say, you know what, if you can go, if the draft ends up where Russell Wilson or similar gets for $15.
Matt Ryan?
See, here comes the quarterback hate again. No quarterback is worth anything now that Merrill has
that's
paid
not what I'm saying. Let's not look at past drafts and what quarterbacks have gone for. Matt Ryan is a $12 quarterback in the draft this year. Maybe
could be.
15. You know, it's $20, and at worst you draft him back for $20 because he's not going to go for more than $20 in the draft.
How do you figure? I mean, last year there were just as many quarterbacks available in the draft, and yet Tom Brady went for $34. How do you explain that?
Because that's Watson for one. Okay.
Okay. So that's Watson.
let's just slow down. But we can look. We can look at the 2013 draft to see what quarterbacks went for.
I mean, so Tony Romo went for 20-something.
No, he didn't.
$10.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's Tony Romo.
Tony Romo went for 15.
There's Tom Brady.
For 36. Jay Cutler went for 7. Colin Kaepernick went for 26. That was kind of high. People thought he was really going to break out. But then you start looking at the back of Tannehill, $1.
Dude, I would rather have Matt Ryan for a solid $20 than Tannehill.
Joe Flacco, 5. Matt Schaub, 1.
Flacco's terrible. Dude, what are you saying about these? You're not even in the same echelon. You might as well say, Jared Lorenzen went for undrafted.
Eli went for 7.
Oh God, Eli's no one's gonna draft Eli. Come on, man. Let's compare apples to apples here. Who's in the Matt Ryan caliber?
Look, you're saying that because we know what happened last year, but going into last year, that wasn't the case, right? Everybody had different opinions going into last year. Eli was
okay.
Was top 15 quarterback
right now, who's a Matt Ryan type prospect that's gonna go for less than $20? Name one.
How about what do you think Carson Palmer went for last year?
Not in the same at all. That's a whole
So who's in the same? Tell me who's in the same, and I'll tell you.
Colin Kaepernick.
Russell
Wilson.
Ben Roethlisberger outscored
for $13.
Ben Roethlisberger outscored Matt Ryan last season.
So how much is Kaepernick and how much is Wilson going to go for this year?
Kaepernick went for 26, but he's probably going to go for around 20, maybe less this year.
Okay, how about Wilson?
Wilson's going to go for 15 to 20 this year.
Okay, and how about Ryan?
Ryan's going to go for 15 to 20.
All right, so why not keep him for 20? Just get him.
Because, like I said, at worst, you just redraft him for 20. But
why
don't you leave your options open in the draft?
I kind of see what Merrill's saying here. Here are guys that scored more and were cheaper than Matt Ryan. Alex Smith, Ben Roethlisberger, Tony Romo, Andy Dalton. These are guys that, you might not... Even my very favorite, Phillip Rivers, who was up in the top 3. They were all cheaper. A bunch.
Yeah. So my opinion is that Matt Ryan is the best of what might be available right now. And you know what? I would rather have him for $20.
Better than Tom Brady?
Yeah.
All right. Want to take that bet? I'll take Tom Brady. You take Matt Ryan?
Yeah, I'll think about that one.
Okay.
You think about it.
No, I mean, I think they're probably in the same caliber.
I don't have to think about it. So.
It's not insane that they'd be close to each other. But
Matt Ryan has Julio Jones back, and he has a healthy Roddy White. Those are his number 1 and number 2 receivers, and he didn't have him last year. So I mean,
did he have him the year before that?
Yeah, and he was freaking awesome 2 years ago.
Really? How good was he?
He was at least top 15.
Whoa, that's freaking awesome! Top 15? Is that?
No, I would say he's better. He was better than that. Clearly he was better than that.
All right.
In 2012, Matt Ryan was the 5th best quarterback.
All right, 5th.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, 5th. So are you going to be smarmy about the 6th best quarterback, number 6? Are you going to smarmy about that? Because now he's got those guys.
Smarmy.
Outscoring Cam Newton, who you say is always top 5.
So there you go. Is that so bad?
Yeah, that's weird.
Would you pay $20 for the number 6 quarterback?
solid
if that's
points
based
on
on
both
our
ends.
scoring or not, though.
Make your because I
Regardless,
remember
though, Matt Ryan is not. It's not a value at 20. You throw him back. If you can get him for 20, you get him back for 20. Because
All right, go ahead. Throw him back. Throw him back. Next team.
Make your bet, guys. Make the bet on that one. That'll be good fun.
I'll take
All right,
Tom Brady right now.
All right, I'll take Matt Ryan.
I don't know what we're betting, but we'll figure that out later.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got two bets. We got Brady versus Matt Ryan, and then who was it? Phillip Rivers versus who?
RG3.
Yes.
I'm gonna win both of these.
Let's
Okay.
see. And Merrill.
You're forgetting
Okay.
Tom Brady was missing a few key players last year too. But
He's missing everything right now.
Hillers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're in. We'll come up with stuff. They'll be in the bet book. Look for them there. All right, wrapping up. What do we got
did
here?
you really say he's going to keep Dwayne Bowe?
He should. He's $1.
God,
How low
just
risk can
threw
you
up-
get? Could be a
just
real.
threw up in my mouth.
Could be a real.
He's not $1. He's $4 because nobody's
Oh,
$1. to
okay.
keep.
$4 is worth it. Go ahead.
No, not for Dwayne Bowe. It's not.
$4. Go ahead.
Not worth it. He was terrible. All right, JD. By far, kind of, I think we can all agree in the worst situation right now.
He's among the worst.
It's
I
not
don't know
good.
if it's the worst. It's not good.
Yeah. All right. All right. That's the last team. I think that we'll conclude that there, then, guys. Is there anything else we want to say? Anything?
No, there's no point in doing division winners or anything like that until post draft.
Oh, okay. Yeah, guys, but we got a few days left to make trades, so now's the time. Get out there. You just heard all the key situations
Your hour-long
everybody's in.
advertisement continues.
Yep. I have lots of people to trade.
Shut up.
So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for putting this together last minute. We were a little chaotic, but appreciate you jumping on, and look forward to seeing everybody either in person or virtually on Sunday. Should be.
I'm sorry for drinking so much on a Tuesday before the podcast.
You don't
Dude,
look sorry.
That's what makes it great. Yeah, Hillers normally drinks too much during the podcast, so that's the difference.
Yeah, that's the kind of bet that we need to make again this year, because that was gold. That was podcast gold.
Did they get Hillers drunken rambling bet?
Yeah, I like it.
We'll come up with something.
I'll tell you why Aaron Rodgers is the best.
That's not what I sound like.
All right.
That's close.
That was kind of a Bob Dylan Hillers combination.
Yeah, I gotta say, what am I blowing in the wind?
I don't know what that was.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. With that said, we're going to close it out here. For Anthony, for Hillers, this is me, Merrill, saying we will talk to you
What
later.
about this guy? You didn't sign up for
Oh, and the Hanker Simulator also
for
signed.
Professor Hankerson.
Professor Hankerson. All right. We'll talk to you guys later.